Southwest Stages is a nonprofit media organization which strives to advance and promote the art of live music, to celebrate cultures, and unite communities throughout the Southwest through the recording, archiving, and broadcasting of community musical events. A list of artists recorded by Southwest Stages, our broadcast schedule, and partner stations can be found on our website, southweststages.org. From the heart of the Southwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I'm your guest host, David House, and this is Southwest Stages. On this edition of Southwest Stages, we're celebrating our 100th show as we continue our special four-part series that takes a look back at the first 3 years of Southwest Stages programming. Tonight's show is the final program in our special four-part series that give you a behind-the-scenes look into the Southwest Stages program. During this four-part series, we'll showcase some of the incredible artists that have been featured during our first 3 seasons, along with interviews with the Southwest Stages crew by 2 of Southwest Stages' favorite guest hosts. Tonight's show is the final program in our four-part series and features interviews by guest host Mike Coster, who's the executive director of Southwest Roots Music, and interviews by guest host reggae expert Aija Umi, a 30-year radio veteran and DJ in New Mexico. Our guest hosts talk with John Strader, Chip Borton, and Nola Daves Moses at the Southwest Stages studios, as they reveal intimate details of the program to our listeners and stations. During this four-part series, you'll hear music previously featured on Southwest Stages programs, and you'll get a glimpse into future broadcasts. On the program tonight, we'll finish our four-part series with music by reggae icons Third World, Toots and the Maytals, Bunny Wailer, and Burning Spear. I'm your special guest host, David House. It's time to kick off this final hour in our series by heading to the Lenzik Theater in Santa Fe, New Mexico, for music by a reggae icon who was featured on Southwest Stages during our first year of programming. Here they are, the legendary English reggae group, Steel Pulse.
Yeah! The Earth Crisis Experience did this. Crazy, tied the distraction of creation would be nuclear power radiation. Have mercy, at that judgment would come. They drop the neutron bomb, and man is heading for extinction, yes. Contraceptive pills that was meant to kill. Legal murder, whoa, whoa, they call abortion. Time the invention of robots, yeah, yeah. All forms of life would eventually stop them. Doggone crazy, mass producing test tube babies. Doggone crazy, mass producing test tube babies. Wild goose chase, laws of nature that just can't face. Ambitions in my shut the place. Yeah. Who shall save the human race? What's wrong? Hey. Chemicals in the food to control population. Intentions to build a plastic nation, cloning cats to have dogs, human beings breeding search of aliens. On the moon in search of aliens. Doggone crazy. Mass producing test tube, baby. Doggone crazy. I see them on, I see them on, I see them on this wild goose chase. Lost of nature, they just can't face. I'm too shot to my shot the place. Hey, who shall save the human race? Tell me. Self-destruction. Of science and technology, I tell you this, the world is an unconscious laboratory. Using my people as guinea pigs, I am invited spiritually. Soon the old inject themselves to keep young. Ain't me telling you what they do next. All I know that Jah must vex. Righteous one, I keep and check. I turn down the road upon evil's neck. Cause wild goose chase, lots of nature they just can't face. Ambitions in my shut the place. Yeah. Who shall save the human race? Tell me, who shall save the human race? 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 Who shall save the human? Who shall save the? Who shall save? Who? From the historic Lenzik Theater in Santa Fe, New Mexico, this is David Dredd
and Selwyn D.
We are Steel Pulse, and this is the Southwest Stages Radio. Go, go, go!
Oh,
I'm your special guest host, David House, and you're listening to the final program in our special 4-part series celebrating Southwest Stages' 100th show. Let's head back to the Southwest Stages studios as guest host Ija Umi continues his behind-the-scenes conversation about the crew's day at the 2006 Roots Rock Reggae Festival, held at the Journal Pavilion Amphitheater.
You know, and that day, Ija, it was so special, but, you know, I mean, having Bob's Sons there was one thing, but having Bunny there, I mean, and you know, the thing that I noticed the most was that even the Sons felt the same way. It's like Bunny doesn't leave Jamaica very often, and he hadn't been in New Mexico in I don't know how long.
I don't think he'd ever been here.
He'd ever been here. So
this was
I
his
mean,
first time in New Mexico, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, just to have that, and even you could see Ziggy, they're like calling him Uncle Bunny. I mean, they're like, we're so connected to Bunny because he's like connected to my father in ways we can never know. You know, they're like, he's part of him. And so, you know, having him, what I remember the most was not only was his show amazing and he was doing his thing, but, you know, he opened up to you specifically. I mean, I think you guys had a 45-minute interview. People never hear the entire interview on Southwest Stages. And you'll never know until now that his manager had to come up and drag Bunny out of our RV to get him on stage to do the get up stand up at the very end of the show with all the brothers and everybody because he was so into talking. And he's not a big talker. So, I mean, what was that like, being able to get someone who is a notorious reserved man and get him to open up to us?
We had met before.
He had a little rapport.
We had met before. so that right away, I reminded him, hey, remember we talked and this and that. So I think he put his guards a little bit down there
Yeah.
because he remembered our conversation
Yeah.
and crested. So like you say, just being around this man, this legend, a Wailer, one of the original Wailers,
Yeah.
Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, and Bob Marley. I mean, so you with that kind of a person, who's made that sacrifice and paid those dues and brought us all this beautiful music, as well as a message of Rastafari, a message of one love and one heart and one people, so he's a minister in his own right that way, because not only I'm in awe of his musical talent, but I'm in awe of his spiritual and revolutionary stance, that we're all one people and one God, one aim, one destiny. Talking about what Bunny Wailer means to me, he represents that back to Africa movement, Rastafari, reggae, but he also represents universality, that yes, once we find ourselves, when we find ourselves, we see that we're part of everybody else. And so that he's just a legend to me in that way too. So being with Bunny Wailer was a great special day, and you're right. They had to drag him out of there.
He
It was
dragged
like,
him out of there.
It was like because it was like the easiest interview I'd ever done.
Yeah.
Because all I had to do was ask one question, and he was just like talking, and I have to stop and try to ask him another question.
I know.
So he was also in a zone.
He was in the zone.
He was in a zone too after that show. He was just traveling with.
He loved being out with the boys.
Yeah,
he loved being with Bob's
traveling
boys.
with the boys.
He
They
was-
both talked about
Yeah,
that too.
I mean, he loved that.
Yeah,
So that was an amazing show.
it was.
Ooh, yes. Come on to the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock, 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 rock. To the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock. Now it's party time. We gonna rock to the drum and bass line. It's party, party, party time. Yeah, now put some pep in your waistline. Hear the sound system, they're going in the ghetto, the ghetto. Well, the music is mellow. The dancing you will never want to stop. Just forward this your rhythm from the top to the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock, 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 rock. To the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock, 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 rock. Now it's qualification time. With good music, the sea and sunshine. With the reggae rock, boogie disco style. There was never so much fun in a long while. Hear the sound system, they're going in the ghetto, the ghetto. Where the music is mellow, the dancing you will never wanna stop. Just forward this your rhythm from the top. Come on. Ooh, yeah. Come on. Ooh, yeah, to the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock, 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 rock. To the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock. Now it's party time. We're gonna rock to the drum and bass line. It's party, party, party time. Yeah, now put some pep in your waistline. Hear the sound system, they're going in the ghetto, the ghetto. Where the music is mellow, the dancing you will never wanna stop. Just forward this your rhythm from the top to the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock, 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 rock. To the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock. Hey, to the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock, 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 rock. To the dance rock. Let me take you to the dance rock, 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 rock. Hey!
Greetings. This is yours truly, Jaboni Whaler, foundation and still survivor of the legendary Whalers. I am now performing at the 2006 Bob Marley Roots Rock Reggae Festival at the Journal Pavilion in Albuquerque, NM, and you are listening to Southwest Stages. Big time. When you want to listen to real hardcore reggae music, you got to be staying tuned to NM. And you are knowing that I, Don Dada Jaboni Whaler, says so. And when I say so, it goes so. Big time.
Jaja say you come down, dada. You so strong, down, dada. Only you know when we feel down, dada. Can't be no more, down, dada. We won't go cook a little meal, down, dada. Hey, down, dada. Only you know when we feel down, dada. Now hear this. Everywhere me go, then call me down, dada. Inna the ghetto, me and everyone father. Grandpa, grandma, pick the mama and baby father. Everyone call me the Don Dada. So children, children, yes mama. Where have you been to the Don Dada? What did he teach you was to love one another? Will you obey him? Yes mama. Don Dada. You ears must ring, Don Dada. Biddy bam bam bam, Don Dada. And you walk out the swing, down, dada. Oh yes, a down, dada. Only you know where we feel, down, dada. Oh yes, down, dada. You not stop, shock out, down, dada. Now hear this. Enough respect you to all the Don Dada. Him have the hustling ability in the area where we would do without the Don Dada. Him a job blessed by Jaja. So children, children, yes mama. We make you know say him a Don Dada. Cause him always bring enough Dan Dan. And we know him as the round dance Don Dada. A Jaja say you come Don Dada. You so strong, Don Dada. Only you know where we feel, Don Dada. Can't be no more, Don Dada. We want to cook a little meal, Don Dada. Oh yes, Don Dada. You not stop, shock out, Don Dada. Now hear this. Them say rain no set like trouble, but the Don Dada nah give up the struggle. Sometime the Don Dada will go a jail, but remember say Don Dada must get bail. Everywhere me go then call me Don Dada. Inna the ghetto me a everyone father. Grandpa, grandma, pick me mama and baby father. Everyone call me the Don Dada. So children, children, yes mama. Where have you been to, Don Dada? What did he teach you was to love one another? Will you obey him? Yes, mama, Don Dada. And Jaja say you come, Don Dada. You so strong, Don Dada. Do you know where we feel, Don Dada? Can't be no more, Don Dada. We want to cook a little meal, Don Dada. Oh yes, Don Dada. You know when we feel Don Dada. Come along, come along, come along, come along, Don Dada. Yes. How you feeling out there?
Yowza, this is Bunny Rocks from Third World. So right now, you're listening to the 2006 Reggae Sunsplash. Hello, this is Southwest Stage Radio, #1 in town. Whoa, 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 yeah. Southwest Stage Radio. Don't touch the dial. This is Bunny Rock say Southwest Stage Radio. Bless #1.
So, bless. Rasta. Stone, you could tell me anything down, press? All the way from Jamaica. From Kingston, Montego Bay, St. Elizabeth, Clarendon. There's a land far, far away where there's no night, there's only day. Look into the book of life and you will see that there's a land far, far away. That there's a land far, far away. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords sit upon his throne and he rules us all. Look into the book of life and you will see that he rules us all. That he rules us all. Santa Amasagana, La Amla, Ulagi. Santa Amasagana, La Amla, Ulagi. Ulagi. Masakana, Lam Lam, Ooh, Lagi, Sata Masakana, Lam Lam, Ooh, Lagi, Ooh, Lagi.
Music that was never heard on Southwest stages before. It's Reggae Icons' Third World, recorded live at the 2006 Reggae Sunsplash, held at the Journal Pavilion Amphitheater in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm your special guest host, David House, and you're listening to the final program in our special four-part series celebrating Southwest Stage's 100th show. Coming up on the second half of the show, we'll feature more great music with Reggae Icons, Toots and the Maytals, and the legendary Burning Spear. And listen in as our guest hosts Ija Umi and Mike Coster finish their conversation with the Southwest Stages crew. Coming up right after this short break.
Yeah. Now, Rastafari. Huh? Listen to my words very carefully. If you have a lighter, you can strike your lighter now. If you have a lighter, you can strike your lighter. Turn on your cellular. If you have a lighter, you can strike your lighter. Yes. Oh, you can strike your lighter.
Southwest Stages is produced by the hard work of a community of volunteers. We'd like to take this time to thank our guest hosts, David House, Ija Umi, Mike Coster, Putney, Luther Watts, and Harlan Macasito. We'd like to take this time to thank our production crew, Adan Maldonado, Axel Carell, and Jim Flynn, and our support team, Daphne Strader, Kim Kinnanen, Will Moses, and Gail Harvey.
Another incredible reggae show that actually happened, I think it was 10 days apart. And it was the Reggae Sunsplash just 10 days after the Roots Rock Reggae. And it was Third World, and it was Rick Rock, and it was Toots, and the Maytals, and UB40, who we didn't actually get permission to record. So sorry, you're not going to hear
Priest.
them. Maxi Priest, my man. You know, those shows are going to come up later. But, I mean, for me, Toots has always been, I mean, I love Toots. And he has also been such a reggae icon. And when I saw that Toots and the Sunsplash was playing at the Journal on my birthday, and it was just a few days before Thirsty Year, and we were going out to his big festival, I was like, I don't care how long that day is going to be. That's the best birthday present ever.
Yes,
so we shot for that one, and, you know, we got it. And so we're there, and when you're doing a festival, you don't get very much time, and poor Toots only had like 50 minutes. So once again, you know, Toots was like, you know, dang, I had so much more to give, you know, and I wish I had more. And he's just glad we're there and that he can talk and that show is going to live. And, you know, once again, we get another reggae icon backstage with us, and you get that interview. And
Well, you know, Toots to me has one of the, I've always loved Toots' voice. He's always been one of my favorite vocalists in reggae music because he reminds me of, you know, some of the great soul vocalists. So it's just, you know, when I see Toots, I just, you know, when talking to him about how he started singing and stuff.
Yeah, Toots was a gospel singer.
Yeah, he talked about, you know, when he was 3 years old, they took him to church and set him on the table and said he was going to sing, you know, right away, you know. So yes, Toots, he's never disappointed me. And I just, like I say, all he's got to do is just sing the ABCs, and I love his voice because I love that soul raspy voice he has, you know.
Good evening. Good evening.
What time? What time it is? Radio time? People, I want to tell you, you're one beautiful, happy people. And we love you. What time? Good God. Rock steady, yo. Leave it up. Suppose you wanna go to one eye, what would you do? Suppose you wanna go to one eye, what would you do? Say the boy you wanna go to one eye, what would you do? Suppose you wanna go to one eye, what would you do? Oh, timba, you timba, timba. What would you do? Suppose you knock on the money, what would you do? You know, and won't know what would you do? Knock on the money, what would you do? What would you do? Suppose you wanna go to my heart, what would you do? Hey, he don't say one on my line, what would you do? Suppose you wanna go to my heart, what would you do? Oh, yeah. When I'm in town, I always listen to Southwest Stages music. Number one station. It's the radio station I'm talking about.
Hey, this is Ijah, and I'm happy to be here on Southwest Stages 100th show. What a milestone. Keep up the good work. You come a long way, and I know you're going to go up far, far, far. And like you say, don't shoot for the moon, shoot for the stars.
The reason the show sounds so good is to be able to put the time in and have an engineer who not only has the skills but is willing to hurt themselves to make sure that mix is so good.
To
You know
take
what I'm
the
saying?
beating. You know what I'm
Take
saying?
the, it's a
Take the
beating.
beating.
Shit takes a
He ain't
beating.
called technical director for nothing.
I mean,
Yes, you know, that's dedication. That's the love. That's the love for the art and the dedication and the discipline. You know, that also has to come with that. You know, and you know, this is no small thing. You know.
and here's the perfect example. Now that we have all of us on the mic together, we have Mike Koster, we have Chip, and we have Ijah. The culmination of that, and Nola, is that we did a show, Burning Spear, which was a fundraiser for Southwest Stages. And and it was really one of the best shows ever, we ever did. And it was like just a miracle that it happened.
Of all
And it was
time.
Mike Koster who did the business side of putting the show on we did some promotion on our side and did the recording. Ija comes in, does the interview with Spear, and it was like one of those moments that so many shows can go so wrong so many ways. I can't even tell you the ways things can go wrong. Great shows we've recorded you'll never hear that went terribly wrong. But the Spear, it was like everything came together like in a way that I cannot explain. And that mix was done by Chip live. There's no remix. I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't remix that thing any better.
When was that? When was
John,
that?
just let me tell you that you were there, Ija, and you looked at me, and I looked at you, and I said, "This is going to be the best mix ever." And
That was in the studio outside
yeah,
the El
you had
Rey.
a big smile, and I don't think you believed me, but you know, when it came out, this thing was the best thing.
Come to find out, it was true.
But anyway, that was in the newspaper the next
Ija,
day.
I'm telling you, everything aligned perfectly.
Yes,
for
that's
this
the
night.
point I was trying to make.
There was no mistakes. Everything
That was a
just
blessed night.
went
Well,
so good.
Usually, when we're doing a show like that, you know, this was a different story because it was a fundraiser, so I had a million other jobs. Usually, I'd be sitting right over Chip and Nola's shoulder, mother henning. You know, I'm mother henning the entire time. But for Spear, I knew I had to just stay out. So for me, it was like the hardest thing. I stayed in the venue listening to the band for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes before I ever even was like, okay, now should I go in there? Should I go in there? So I waited like 40 minutes, which is, I mean, unheard of for me. So I walk into the studio and I look around the corner, just scared because I don't know what I'm going to see. And all I see is Chippy in there dancing in front of the mixer, which is one of those things that I've never really seen. I mean, he's usually so
When the
busy
mix gets
and
good,
so focused. And he's up there
He's dancing.
boogieing and dancing. And while he's doing it,
I
he's like
was.
a ballerina, like he's dancing, but his hand would go in and just touch a knob here, touch something there, tweak there. And I'm just listening and I hear the mix coming and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Rastafari. Jah is my driver. Jah is my rider. Jah is the wheel who spec the wheel, the wheel who spec. Jah is the front end. Jah is the engine. Jah is the radiator. Jah is the water who cool off the engine. Who cool off the engine, John. Cool off the engine. Rastafari. He takes again, for a sightseeing. Sightseeing was so real. Trees tall, tall trees. Trees short, short trees. Oh, this place called Africa. Africa, 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 Africa. Oh, this place called Africa. You ride on, Judge, and you ride on. You drive on, Judge, and you drive on. You drive on. Oh, Jah, the Father. Yes, Daddy. Highly, 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 Selassie. Rastafari, New Mexico. Yes, His Majesty.
The music of reggae icon Burning Spear, recorded live in 2006 at the El Rey Theater in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm your special guest host, David House, and you're listening to the final program in our special 4-part series celebrating Southwest Stage's 100th show. Let's go back to the Southwest Stages studios as guest hosts Ija Umi and Mike Coster finish their behind-the-scenes conversation with the Southwest Stages crew about their day with Burning Spear.
You know, I've heard a lot of shows, but, you know, I've been around Spear a lot through the years, you know. I remember seeing Burning Spear at the Club West in Santa Fe back in early 80s, you know what I'm saying? But this night, I had never seen him, like, no inhibitions. I mean, Spear was, like, moved that night.
That's right.
There was something very special.
That's right.
He just got free. He was laughing, and the way he played those congas that night was just, like...
It's off the hook.
Off the hook. It was, like...
It was...
Well, you know,
the way everybody.
So
played
that
those
was
congas.
truly a special, magical, to me, one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
Well, here's how you know he was in a good mood, because I'm keeping track of time. That's what I'm doing. So I know they've got an hour 45 minutes, which to me is I'm like, yes, all right, hour 45 minutes of Spear. So as we get to that hour 45 minute mark, and it looks like he's not stopping, I leave and I come in and I check with his son, who's his manager, and I'm like, hey, you know, how much more time? He goes, well, you know, at this point, I'm looking at him and he goes, as long as he's in a good mood, he's going to keep going. And I'm like, so what, 10, 15 minutes? He's like, I don't know. It's up to, and I'm like, okay. And so he goes on for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I mean, he just went off. He went off. He was just in the vibe. There was no stopping him that night.
I didn't know that.
That's why we did 2 shows.
Oh, that is
two
awesome.
whole shows. Which
But
is rare that we
I
have that
knew
much
he was
material.
like, he got in a zone. Let's just call it a zone. He got in a zone that night, and it was like, wow. It was like he was truly being a vessel of Rastafari that night, you know, because he just got in that zone, and the crowd was loving it. And
He was, and
the
I-
sound was great, and
I
it was
think
just,
I felt it.
You know,
I think I
media
felt it.
rights was dropping, and
I
it
think
was
I
just
felt
beautiful.
it like 200 feet away through 100 feet of cable, man, I still felt it. I was still just, it was perfect.
I still think the greatest show at the El Rey ever.
Don't we?
It was one of the greatest reggae concerts ever.
Yeah.
This is Mike Coster. It was a Southwest Roots Music, Southwest Stages co-production, and to this day, months and months later, I still get emails, I still get calls. Man, that was the greatest show, the greatest reggae show by these reggae heads. I mean, big time.
Oh, yeah.
That I've ever seen. And they all want to know, hey, when can I hear this show? Can I hear this show again?
I think we should hear it right now.
Let's hear it.
You know,
Let's hear it right now.
So do you remember the days of slavery? So do you remember the days of slavery? And they beat us, they beat us. And they work us so hard, so hard. When they use us, they use us. Till thou refuse us. So do you remember the days of slavery? Hold up in fat boat, yeah. How will you jump upon the bullet? We must bullet. With shackles around our neck. Believe me, and we sit so close. So do you remember the days of slavery? Try and remember. Please remember. So to remember. Oh, my brother feels it. Included my sister in 2 years. Some of us are gone. Shine them on that we are still alive. Then our whole slavery days. Our whole slavery days. Oh, Jah, Rastafari. Rastafari in New Mexico. Do you remember the days of slavery? Do you remember the days of slavery? Try and remember. Please remember. Suited to remember. Mama Africa. Mama Africa. Whole slavery. A whole slavery. Whole slavery days. Africa, 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 Do you remember the days of slavery? Do you remember the days of slavery? Try and remember. Please remember. So you to remember our whole slavery days. A mama, mama, Africa. A mama, mama, Africa. A mama, mama, Africa. A mama, mama, Africa. Talk to me if you want some more. Let me know you want some more. Shout it out, shout it out. Lay it out like you never let no before. Let me know you want some more like you never want some more before. Rastafari. So you want some more original reggae music? Are you sure? Are you sure? You sure? You sure? Thank you.
The music of reggae icon Burning Spear, recorded live in 2006 at the El Rey Theater in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm your special guest host, David House, and you're listening to the final program in our special 4-part series celebrating Southwest Stage's 100th show. Now let's finish up this special series with music from our second year of programming. It's the Native American flautist R. Carlos Nakai. You've been listening to the final part in our special series celebrating Southwest Stages' 100th show. Southwest Stages would like to thank the network of community and public radio stations who broadcast this program on a weekly basis. Southwest Stages would like to thank the artists, festivals, music venues, promoters, volunteers, and our donors for all of their help and support during our first 3 seasons. We'd also like to thank some of the people who made this show possible. Thanks to the staff and crew of the Journal Pavilion Amphitheater, the Bob Marley Roots Rock Reggae Festival, the Reggae Sunsplash, the El Rey Theater, the Chemo Theater, the staff at the Lenzik Performing Arts Center, Live Nation, Audio Excellence, Southwest Roots Music, Fanman Productions, and Santa Fe Audio Visual. We'd also like to take this time to thank our volunteer staff and crew. Thanks to producer and host John Strader, technical director Chip Borton, operations manager Nola Daves Moses, board members Daphne Strader and Gail Harvey. Production support provided by Axel Corral, Adan Maldonado, and Jim Flynn. Special thanks to guest hosts Mike Coster, Ija Umi, and David House for all of their support over the years. Southwest Stages program schedule, member stations, broadcast times, services, and contact information is available at southweststages.org. I'm your special guest host, David House. Thank you so much for listening. Tune in next week as we hit the road in search of more great live music from around the Southwest, right here on Southwest Stages. Southwest Stages recording services are now available for hire. With experience recording hundreds of nationally and internationally known artists, we're now available for your recording needs. Our services include on-site stereo and multi-track recordings, live radio broadcasts, CD duplication and printing, mobile studio rental, and festival archiving. Information and a rate quote is available at info@southweststages.org or visit our website, southweststages.org.
Next time on Southwest Stages, you'll hear more great live music and artist interviews recorded at communities all over the Southwest. Whether it's the blues, rock and roll, jazz, reggae, zydeco, hip-hop, native music, or funk, you'll hear it all on Southwest Stages. So tune in each week as we travel the Southwest in search of great live music, only here on Southwest Stages.